If everybody loves him so much, why is he only on the 10? Here are 5 history-making things about Alexander Hamilton. Number 1, he was a Revolutionary War hero. Hamilton is so celebrated for his accomplishments as a writer and a politician that his military service is often overlooked. He did spend much of the Revolutionary War as an aide to General George Washington, but he saw plenty of action on the battlefield as well. In 1776, he raised a company of artillery, of which he was elected captain, and then late in the war he returned to combat to command troops against British fortifications during the Battle of Yorktown, helping to force the surrender of British forces under the command of General Cornwallis. Not too shabby. But now that the war was over, there was a new government to establish, and Alexander Hamilton was just getting started. Number 2, he shaped modern interpretations of the Constitution. Hamilton served in the Confederation Congress, the assembly which governed the United States during the 8 years between the end of the Revolutionary War and the commencement of the government under the present Constitution. He attended the Constitutional Convention in 1787, and though he ultimately wasn't entirely happy with the Constitution, he became one of its most articulate defenders, writing 51 of the 85 essays of the Federalist Papers. Not all of his ideas caught on. For example, during the Constitutional Convention, he argued that presidents and senators should be elected to serve for life, but Hamilton understood that the federal government had to be strong and active if it was to be of any use to the country. He brought that understanding with him when he was appointed the first Secretary of the Treasury, and number 3, he proposed visionary economic policies. As Treasury Secretary, Hamilton supported the creation of a national bank and argued that the federal government should act to support and encourage industry and invest in the building of physical infrastructure. These ideas formed the basis of what came to be known as the national system, the philosophy that eventually influenced American economic policy for over a century. Though it was championed in the early 19th century by the likes of Henry Clay and John Quincy Adams, the national system wasn't fully implemented until the Lincoln administration. It was during that same era that another reform favored by Hamilton was finally realized. Number 4, he opposed the institution of slavery. During the Revolution, Hamilton proposed the conscription and subsequent emancipation of slaves and considered it hypocritical for anyone to support independence without also supporting abolition. After the Revolution, he became a member of one of the country's first anti-slavery organizations, and he argued against the clause in the Constitution which prevented Congress from abolishing American participation in the international slave trade for 20 years. The slave trade was eventually outlawed in 1808, but of course Hamilton did not live to see that. He was killed by Aaron Burr in their famous duel 4 years earlier. And yet, despite that, number 5, he lived the American dream. Hamilton was born in the West Indies to an unwed mother who died when he was just 13. He was largely self-educated. As a teenager, he supported himself working as a clerk. When he was 17, a hurricane struck his town of Christiansted, and Hamilton wrote a letter to the local newspaper vividly describing the storm. The citizens of Christiansted were so impressed by his writing that they took up a collection which allowed him to travel to New York City and attend what is now Columbia University. And then came the war, independence, the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, the Treasury Department. Not bad for someone who started out as just another immigrant coming up from the bottom, or so the song goes. The hardest part is picking only 5. Catch you next time. Hey folks, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and also consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. Thanks for watching.